Winegard started in 1953 by John Winegard, and basically he wanted to receive television signals when that was the only way to communicate, the only medium from Chicago. So he developed one of the first multi-channel TV antennas, pointed it at Chicago, received the broadcast from there, and that was sort of the beginning because neighbors, friends heard about it, that they were able to receive television from that far away, and the rest was sort of history. Obviously, he repeated that and made other antenna systems for other people in Burlington, and that's how it all started. Some of the major changes, definitely high definition programming. We used to have, as I talked about, analog, then the move to digital with satellite, but also the resolution and the picture quality has increased tremendously. That's one of the big things. DVR technologies, many other technologies that just give an overall much more higher quality picture. The other thing is you used to have to, of course, try and manually point the satellite systems, which can cause a lot of longer setup times, maybe some extra stress that's not needed when you're setting up. So a big move that's been made too is we've been able to automatically control the system, so it automatically points itself. So you can get into a campsite or wherever you're at and simply press a button, and the satellite system goes up and acquires the correct satellite in the sky, instead of the user having to worry about what am I supposed to point at? Do I have to tilt a satellite antenna dish left or right, or where it needs to look? So the ease of use has really come a long way in the setup process. There's some great programs out there. Basically, you used to have to sign up for 2 years to get the services, and then you'd pick a certain level of programming that you wanted to receive. Now there's been some great, what they would call a pay-as-you-go program, where you get a great selection of all the top channels that you want, but it's been specifically designed for the RVer. So if you're not always in your RV, or you're only going to use it certain months out of the year, you don't have to continue paying for the service. You can turn it on and off and use it when you need it, yet all those channels you want to watch are right there whenever you're out RVing. And that's been a long time philosophy of starting with John Winegard, our founder, and now Randy Winegard. We've always kept the production in the United States. We believe that, we need to build in the quality into the product, and we compete on a global scale doing that. The nice part is we get full control over all the quality processes. We get to see exactly from an injection molding process to surface mount technology, where we're actually populating the electronics board. We know exactly what's going into the product. We take it out and test it before we ship it out, so we know exactly how it performs, and believe that control over the process is going to deliver the best product to the end user, and that's what we care about most. We want to take care of the customer, and we believe the best way to do that is building the best quality product right here in Burlington, Iowa. Depending on the circuit board, it of course goes through more complex circuit boards will go through various stages of tests throughout the process. And what we're checking for is all the data and information that's moved throughout the board to make let's take a satellite system that moves around and automatically locks onto the correct satellite. We want to make sure that that's functioning correctly before we even place it into the product itself. So as that's populated and built, we test it at various stages to make sure that all connections are there, all the RF components are in the right place, and then it moves on throughout the assembly process. As volumes increase, you need more efficient processes to make sure we can meet our customers' demands. And so we've automated a lot of those processes where there's full inline signal testing completed right inside the factory to ensure that you're going to receive a signal and it's going to work when it ships out the door. We actually have over 20 technicians and customer service agents who sit right here in Burlington, so they understand the assembly and the factory itself and everything that's going into that. They're all trained before they start on all of our wide array of products, and that close vicinity right here, as opposed to outsourcing the customer service to somewhere else in the country or even outside of the country, we think is also much more efficient and gives the customer a much better experience, because the people understand the product here and they know what they're talking about, as opposed to having to talk to somebody outside our company walls, only to have to wait to get an answer on what's going on, etc. So we really like to give as much customer service as possible to make that ownership experience a good one. And of course, we not only make satellite antennas for the RV industry, but we also make them for oil and gas exploration, remote communities that just can't receive any type of TV or internet access. So we even make them for remote residences. So all in all, I'd say we're well over 20, 30 plus on different types of satellite antennas in general, and that's both for TV and for internet type of services. We're definitely very eco-conscious. Obviously, we don't like to, as part of our overall efficiency, we don't want to produce a lot of waste. And we believe in, sustaining the environment to enable future generations to enjoy everything we get to enjoy. And so in our steel stamping processes, any excess steel is collected and recycled. So inevitably they may come back to us in another steel roll that we're stamping out antenna reflectors or forming the steel for some other part that we use. When it comes to plastics, we use reground and recycled plastics into our injection molding processes. And, it's a real win-win, because it doesn't sacrifice any of the rigidity or quality of our dome systems or other plastic parts that we use. So, it's an overall win-win for the consumer. Overall connectivity technology, I'd say, is, as everyone sort of knows, is coming into all parts of our lives. All things in the future are going to be connected. So that's making them smarter. And we're providing products now that enables, even RVers in a mobile environment to connect the devices and use the services that they're used to using at home in their RV. So we provide products that enable a Wi-Fi hotspot. So anywhere you're going, whether you're driving down the road, whether you're parked at an RV park, you can connect to the internet, stay in touch with families. You can even use that as whether there's a smart fridge or an Amazon Alexa inside the RV, all that can be enabled. So all those services that you're used to holding in the palm of the hand on the smartphone, we're enabling in a mobile environment also. It's a nice part about us having a strong background in RF technology, radio frequency technology in general. We understand OTA antenna technology, we understand Wi-Fi antenna technology, we understand satellite antenna technology, and we understand 4G LTE cellular technology. In fact, we've even made FM radios and radio boosters in the past. So as more and more services are come out over more and more of these different technologies, we're able to aggregate those all together, and instead of having 10 different antenna systems on your roof, we can pull it all into one. And that's what we've done with our latest Connect 2.0 connectivity product. It enables Wi-Fi, 4G LTE, AM radio, FM radio, over-the-air HD TV, all into one system. So all those services you can enjoy, and you don't have to have 10 different systems on your roof. So it really clears up a lot of space up there. They're moving that way very quickly. In fact, if you sort of look at the automotive industry, I believe Audi was the first car company that integrated cellular connectivity into the car as a standard feature. And now moving forward to 2019, most car manufacturers are enabling a 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot right in the vehicle. And I think you're seeing the trendsetters in the RV industry as the consumer demands that connectivity, just because so many devices are using it in their lives, that we're seeing the RV industry go the same way with that connectivity. So very quickly here, more and more OEMs are adopting it, and they're bringing out more and more services within the RV that will make RVing better, that take advantage of that connectivity, including even when they're not even in the RV itself, when it's in storage, when they're away from it, out eating dinner, whatever it may be. There's the connectivity is allowing yourself to log back into the RV and maybe check on a pet, or get updates as to what the battery level is if it's in storage. So when I want to go use the RV, I know that I need to charge up the battery, or it's ready to go, even in a remote monitoring type of situation. So the connectivity portion is great for entertainment, and it's also great for what people are talking about, the Internet of Things, which is a lot of the machine-to-machine communication, monitoring type of services that are becoming available. The cloud is a big deal. You hear people talking about it all the time. Once we've established the connection through these new technologies, the cloud is enabling you to store videos up there. It enables a big buzzword, artificial intelligence. So when we talk about smart cars or smart TVs, this new wave of connectivity is enabling the connection to the cloud, which enables a much larger computing power. That computing power is up in the cloud, and once we've established the connection, all the things you can do with a supercomputer, you can then allow all the devices in your RV to take advantage of it. So it will really go a long way towards making your experience in the RV better. A lot of people too talk about, we get this a lot, where since an RV is a home on wheels, all those complex appliances, systems, TVs, everything that's inside the RV, there's a lot of owner's manuals in the RV, and it can be an overwhelming experience when you first start using it. And a lot of these, the cloud services and AI, connectivity in general, I think will make so much of using the RV simpler, just because when you can establish that connection, then you can start talking about just simply using voice commands. Uh, Something as simple as that, instead of thumbing through all your RV manuals or finding all the different remotes in there, you can simply just talk to the RV and it will carry out whatever command you want it to do, instead of having to research it and learn what button does what and what app even does this or that. So there's a lot of power there with the cloud and using the cloud to enable artificial intelligence type of features like voice command, things like that. We've got the most exciting products that we've ever been working on in the works, just because it does enable so many possibilities, so many new services that we can bring to the RVer to make the experience better. Everything through from satellite technologies through wireless technologies, all these different connectivity technologies, and the ability to harness the power of the cloud and artificial intelligence will be making its way into all the new products that we're coming out with. The great part about these technologies is what we want to do, of course, is make them seamless. So we don't want to make extra steps for the user. We want to make things seamless and just make their experience better. So the technologies will be there, but they'll sort of be in the background, and so things will just work when they want it to work, instead of, once again, the example I use is get out the owner's manual, read all about all the different buttons, let's say on a remote control, and spend your afternoon, doing that, instead of just, for example, say, talking to the RV and telling the RV, RV, please turn my satellite system to channel 54, and it automatically turns on the TV, turns on the stereo system, and turns it to the channel that you want to watch. So it's a much more seamless experience. Obviously, families also want to keep in touch with other relatives, etc., on the road, and so of course, social media, Facebook, email, all those things are enabled. So when you want to stay in touch, all that's right there at your fingertips. Another interesting part of that, what it does is it's allowing families or RVers in general to stay out doing what they like to do, being outdoors, be RVing longer, because before, you'd take your trip, and then if you're still in the workforce, you'd have to go back to the office and do whatever you need to do, and then schedule your next trip to go out again. With connectivity, you can take care of, and depending on your occupation, a lot of things if you just have an internet connection. So in a lot of ways, even though it might sound like, hey, I want to disconnect, what we're trying to accomplish is the ability to disconnect more. But those necessities you need to communicate, stay in touch, and then of course have devices more seamlessly work easier for you. That's really what we're trying to accomplish with all this connectivity, cloud, and other buzzwords you're hearing about. Yeah, actually, the Playmaker can retail for $249. So we've really lowered the cost there overall, and allowed everybody, all different types of budgets, to enjoy their entertainment when they're done doing whatever it is they're doing for the day. So and of course it's also important in a lot of remote areas where satellite is the only way to connect, to be able to get the weather and updates on news and weather and what's going on around you. But yeah, we've got the whole gamut of products to fit all different lifestyles, all the way, as you said, from our Traveler, which hits multiple satellites at once. You can hook, some of these RVs are coming with 4 to 6 TVs in them, and that higher end system allows you to put DVRs on every single one and have outputs to all the TVs with all on-demand viewing and every single channel available, all the way down to the Playmaker like we talked about, which allows you to, at the simplest level, hook up one TV and be watching it in minutes for only $249. Yeah, so we've done a lot of satellite internet in the past, and of course, satellite is the ultimate technology for creating a connection where there is none, where there's no infrastructure, if there's not a cell tower close, or if there's been some type of natural disaster or other situation where power or communications has been knocked out completely in the area. And so we've developed a system that uses satellite internet technology to automatically go up and lock onto satellite internet, and then it's an all-in-one solution where the actual pod itself locks onto satellite and then also sends up a cellular tower, so you can create a instant cellular tower. Sometimes they're referred to as cells on wheels or cell on wheels, and you can take that anywhere in the country, and as first responders need to react, they can go set that up and have communications, whether it's forest fires, whether it's hurricane, anything like that. And if communications in the area have been knocked out or they just didn't have any in general, you can have immediate, instant communications on demand, basically. We're dealing with government organizations, in some cases military organizations that demand the highest level of quality and expertise, because it's very critical for their communications. They can't be having interruptions at all. And we take all that knowledge and high-end technology, and we bring that into the consumer products. So the consumer's really benefiting from all of our R&D and products on the much higher end enterprise, disaster response, military and government type of applications. But all that knowledge filters down into the consumer products and ends up in a final product that's ultra reliable and very high performance. In an RV environment, all of our products, a lot of them being on the roof, are subject to a lot of environmental exposure, a lot of UV, a lot of salt, and then vibrations just as it's being pulled down the road. Much different than just putting something on a house that's just sitting there all the time. And so we put a lot of investment into all different types of environmental testing, shock and vibe type of profiles. We really run the gamut on all environmental testing to ensure that the product can hold up in a harsh environment like on the top of an RV roof. We also test all of our antenna systems in a sort of one-of-a-kind, it's called a spherical near-field range, and it's combined with a compact range. But what that allows us to do is, of course, get real-world performance out of every type of antenna that we develop, ensuring the best performance possible, which means more range, less interruptions in your picture, just a better product in general.